Welcome to Engaging Effectively with Evidence, a Chartered College of Teaching webinar on designing school-based research projects. My name is Steve Waters and I'm an experienced researcher and founding fellow of the Chartered College. I'm a former teacher and local authority advisor, and I have over 40 years' experience in education. My own research journey began with the Open University's MA in Education. I'll share what I learned then and since about conducting research, including in my own school. The webinar is structured in numbered sections. I'll refer to my book, Doing Your Research Project, during the webinar. I'll include relevant chapters and page references. A watermarked PDF version of the book accompanies this webinar. At the end of the presentation, I'll explain how you can purchase the book with a 20% discount off the Amazon price. What are the reasons why you might want to carry out research? While there are many reasons for conducting research, the principles, methods and structure of your research report are the same. Make a note now of why you are interested in doing research. Your why will motivate you when there are challenges. What constitutes a research project? It is important to treat your hypothesis with caution. In this example of a research question, you might think that your research will discover that teenagers' mental health will be adversely affected by using social media. But it is important to keep an open mind and prevent confirmation bias, where you make your research findings fit your hypothesis. It's helpful to consider how a detective approaches an investigation. While he or she might have a theory about how a crime was committed, they must allow the evidence to guide them. Your research findings are the detective's evidence. Your methodology must be guided by your research question, as this example shows. Answers to the question, how do you feel when people attack you on social media, are best collected via qualitative research, where what your research respondents feel is more important than how many of those respondents feel it. If you ask the question, how many hours do you spend on social media, this lends itself to quantitative data, where numbers and statistics are prioritised. Outside scientific research, in practice, most research in education and the social sciences is called mixed methods, a combination of qualitative and quantitative methods. Then there is the analysis of the data and finally writing the report. What makes a research question? I find it personally helpful to consider the research topic using the 5 W's and 1 H structure. 5 why questions and 1 how question. Make a note now of the research question or topic that you wish to investigate. So, what makes a strong school-based research question? From the examples, you can see that the strong school-based research question is specific. It will guide the research process. The weak research question lacks a clear direction and is so big that it could be someone's lifetime work. In most cases where you are conducting school-based research, I'd suggest that your research report does not identify your participants for these reasons. For example, if I am interviewing subject leaders and I use their job title, for example, English lead, this will identify them to staff in the same school, even though you've not used their name. My advice is to number the participants respondent 1, respondent 2, and so on. Case study research in your own school is less common than it was in the 70s and 80s, but it can be a valuable tool for school improvement. So, what is a case study? As this definition points out, interviews, observations and school documents are likely to figure importantly in case study research. If your case study is going to make a contribution to school improvement by addressing a real-life problem and suggesting solutions, you are more likely to get your head teacher's support for your research and staff participation. As with all research methods, the case study approach has strengths and limitations. Here is a more detailed look at the difference between quantitative and qualitative research. In practice, most research reports in education and the social sciences are mixed methods. That is, they contain both qualitative and quantitative approaches. The methodology is determined by the research question, and your research question influences your methodology. It is a reciprocal arrangement. Choosing the appropriate approach involves considering these key questions. What do I mean by pragmatism over perfection? As we've seen, every research study has strengths and limitations. You can only research what is doable and manageable. A common problem is trying to do too much in an attempt to capture every facet of an issue. It's far better to address a narrowly defined question well than answer a far too wide-ranging question badly. It's crucial to keep accurate records and to be organised. Organisation matters for the following reasons. If someone else would struggle to follow your research process, your record keeping might not be good enough. So, what notes should you take? Whether you handwrite or type, whether you use a learning journal or make voice notes is irrelevant. What's important is that the method suits you, you can follow what you've written, and you can find essential information easily when it comes to writing your research report. This is a tried and tested course structure for research projects. Now, advice on writing up. I'm a fan of writing rough drafts of sections as you go along or identifying key points. This avoids the challenge of getting to the writing stage and being overwhelmed by the task in front of you. It doesn't matter about the quality of your rough draft. What matters is that you've made a start on writing up to avoid writer's block. That final point is include implications. What might change in the future? The Harvard referencing system is the most commonly used in research in education and the social sciences. Be guided by your academic institution. If you're using the Harvard system, here are its key features. In the report itself, the author is followed by the date in brackets, as in this example using my book. In the references section, author alphabetically by surname, then the date, then the title, then the publisher. If you've kept organised records, making sure that all the texts you have referenced in your report appear in the references section is so much easier. If you have any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them. There's my email address on the screen now, and I've also included in the appendix additional detailed slides which give you more information on some of the key points I've made in this webinar. Finally, I explained earlier that for attending the webinar or its recording, you're entitled to a 20% discount off my book, Doing Your Research Project. All you need to do is to click on the purple URL link in the large spiky shape on the left. This will take you to the Open University Press site. When you order my book, enter the promotional code OPENUP20 to claim your discount. Your book will usually reach you within 2 to 3 days. Thank you so much for coming to the webinar, and good luck with your research.